Okay, so today is Wednesday, 24th of April 2024, at midday. Air temperatures 27 degrees Celsius, which is about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. The water temperature, let me have a look, yeah, about 25-26 degrees. So just right for breeding MEDAKA. Now, occasionally I try to emphasize I'm not an expert on MEDAKA, just talk about what I do, but then I replay some of my videos and I think, wow, sometimes I sound far too definite in my opinions, so maybe I sound like an expert. So today is where I show how often I can really be dumb and get things wrong. So now, some of my MEDAKA breeding groups, which usually breed very easily, be producing eggs for a few weeks, like this group of white MEDAKA. So, since the weather began to warm up, we started about 4 or 5 eggs a day on the spawning mops. And I expected that number of eggs on the spawning mops to increase as the weather got warmer and warmer. But now, even though it's been warm for several weeks, I'm still only getting a few eggs each day. Whereas I expect, now to get maybe, 10 to 12 eggs a day out of a group like this. So I had a problem, and then I realized, the floating Salvinia plants I got in these tubs now have much longer roots. Well, they did have much longer roots than about 12 months ago when I was collecting lots of eggs. Now, from what I can remember, the fronds of this, and they are fronds, they're not leaves because Salvinia is a fern. The fronds don't seem to have grown very much over a year. So I didn't bother to check the roots until I found I was getting fewer eggs than expected. So I'll show you what I mean just here. Move my chair. So these are what I've got in the tubs now, and you can see the roots are minimal. Maybe a female might want to lay eggs on there, but I don't think enough that it will substantially reduce the number of eggs on the spawning mop. But so that's what the plants look like there, and you go to what the plants look like now, before, when I wasn't getting many eggs, and then you see the roots down here, which may be 30 mm long, and that was obviously the problem. I can't see it now. I think because I've just got these roots out a couple of days ago, put them in some ordinary plain water, dumped them in there just so I could show this, and there's 1 or 2 fry already hatched out in there somewhere. Maybe you can't see it. And then here is so you go from fronds like that to this, and if you go up to there, those roots are obviously substantially longer, maybe 50-60 mm. But this is really what I had when the females weren't producing too many or weren't laying that many eggs on the spawning mops. So now I've replaced all with. I still like to have the flooding plants. I've as you can see here, I've replaced the giant Salvinia with this is a primary first stage of growth of giant Salvinia. You know, they start out that big and finish up maybe 60, 70 mm fronds once they get really established, and it's been proved that was the problem, because if I go up here and I move my chair, see this group here, they were the same, not producing very many, and so now they've got just this very primary growth stage Salvinia in there. These are the eggs they produced in 2 days. So I don't know, 30 maybe. I'm not going to count them. They're all over the spawning mock. So maybe I normally expect maybe I get 10 a day. So that's that solved the problem. Again, teach me to be more careful. I mean, before I've had mixed in with the Salvinia, I've had water lettuce. I know they have long roots, so I took all the water lettuce out. But now I've just about got enough eggs anyway, within a couple of days of changing that. So from these red cap MEDAKA and the orange MEDAKA and the white MEDAKA, I've more or less got enough eggs, or I will have within the next 1 or 2 days, and then that's enough. So that solved that problem. I wasted a couple of weeks while I really should have solved the problem much earlier. Okay, so the second problem I found, and I haven't solved it yet. I have these, the Nishiki, the red and black MEDAKA, and Yozakura with the lame on the back. Now, even last year they didn't produce very many eggs. They wanted higher temperatures to breed, and I think they seemed quite fussy on water quality. But I was not getting any eggs at all. Okay, so the plants are not a problem. I have found in previous years that some of the females prefer to lay eggs on the sponge filter rather than on a spawning mock, but that's not an issue this time. So, but then here's where I got it all wrong, because I had breeding groups of about 7, 8, 9 fish in a group. I never bothered to check. I just also automatically assumed that there'd be some sort of proportion of males and females in a group, so I didn't bother to put them in a tank just to check from the side whether they got male and female. And I found for both these two groups, and these are the only Nishiki I've got, these are the only Yozakura I've got, only about 7 or 8 of each, and I found they were all females. So again, I wasted weeks on that because I didn't bother I was too lazy to check whether I got males and females. So I have no more Nishiki, no more Yozakura. So the closest I could find for a male that would produce reasonable fry are the orange MEDAKA I've got. Sometimes the Nishiki produce offspring which are just orange. They're basic. One of the basic colourings is obviously orange underneath the black, and you can see that some of the Yozakura have got yellow and orange. So I've put 2 orange males in each of the tubs, but that was a week ago, and I think I got 2 eggs out of each. So I've now got to find out why that is. Yeah, I think these fish are quite old. It may be that I think I've read somewhere that females just have a certain number of eggs they can produce, and that's it. They really won't produce any more. So these females are probably quite old. So maybe they've come to the end of their egg-bearing life. I don't know. They're still very active, so that's not a problem. I'm getting 1 or 2 eggs here and there, so that'll be fine. The only extra thing I've got to check. Sometimes I think I've read that the females don't want to lay their eggs on or put their eggs on a spawning motte or on plant roots. They just sort of cast them adrift, so they sink to the bottom. So they might be down the bottom of the tank. So I'll have to siphon the water out of the bottom and run it through a sieve and see if I've got any eggs there. Apart from that, I don't think there's much else I can do. Which is a shame, because I like the Nishiki and Yosakura. I might have to get some more sometime if these aren't really going to produce any offspring that I can breed later in the year. So, as I say, a couple of dumb things. When I do some more dumb things, I'll make sure I do another video. Okay.